was started 3 years ago. I'd been working in the industry of marketing and digital for a long time, for about 12 years. I'd been recently made redundant from an agency and the opportunity arose. It was purely a matter of timing and the fact that several clients contacted me and wanted to find out what I was doing next. Along with that, several colleagues that I had worked with previously over the years in various different areas got in touch and asked what I was up to, and it all just kind of fell into place. So Philosophi was born. We are a results-driven digital marketing agency, and we focus on generating results for clients across a range of sectors. Mainly e-commerce and retail is our focus, but we do have local clients in other areas as well, so it's quite wide-ranging and varied and very enjoyable. That was introduced via someone I know, as generally happens in Cornwall. It's, you know how it is. And we met, we chatted, and we had so much in common. And it turned out that he knew a lot of things that I had gaps in, and vice versa. So we got on really well, we hit it off straight away. And it took a while for me to build up the courage to ask Thad if he'd be interested in providing some mentoring for me. I'd reached a point in the business where I felt like I needed some help. I have some amazing people around me, all with various different specialities, but I wanted to be able to talk to somebody that wasn't involved in the business, that could give me some really good pointers and that I could talk through problems. So I built up the courage and asked if he'd be interested. He'd mentioned to me that he had had some mentoring in the past himself. I knew he understood what I needed. It was just whether he'd be prepared to do it for me, but he was, and I'm very thankful. It took a couple of sessions, I think, for him to figure out where my problems were really kind of building up. There was a lot of talking and he listened brilliantly. He completely could see the picture. I could see the picture as well, but I was so close to it all that I couldn't really see things clearly, and he could. And because Thad has worked agency side before, he completely knew where I was coming from, not just in terms of the actual issues that I was facing, but in terms of how that felt as a business owner. And the kind of stresses and strains that can put on somebody. So once we'd identified what the core problems were, he simply set about discussing with me possible solutions, which was brilliant. It's exactly what I needed. I needed somebody to say, right, here are the problems. What can we do about it? What are the options? And we went through all the different options, and I knew all of that. I just needed somebody to help me put it into some practical steps, which he absolutely did, and enforced them as well. So he gave me several things to work on. One of the first issues that I had was that I wear a million different hats as the owner of the company, and I'm chopping and changing tasks all day, every day, all through the evenings very often as well. And so managing my time and prioritising what was actually important to the business was becoming a bit of a challenge, because I was being pulled in so many different directions. So one of the first things that he did was he gave me a pad, a task pad. You're smiling like you've had one of these from him, but it was fantastic. It made me focus. Although I had it in my head what my focus was and the priorities were for that day, it literally made me focus properly so that I could put tasks into certain boxes and then cross them off, which is what I did, and that helped immensely as a first step. Whenever I meet with Thad, I always walk away feeling enthusiastic and excited and rejuvenated. You know, nothing's as bad as I think it is. If I'm having a tough week, he helps me put everything into perspective. And so whenever we meet up and sit down, I always, for at least several days afterwards, until everything catches up with me again, I feel really positive. Anything that is a challenge I can sort it out. So that's been one of the biggest impacts to me personally. From a business perspective, one of the problems that I was working on with Thad was working on developing our client growth and client-based growth in a particular area. We were talking through ideas on how I could attract a certain kind of new client. Thad helped me work up a solution in the form of a beautiful book that we could send out to specific new clients. And he gave me a task list and a checklist to actually get that done, because there was a lot of work involved. Thad actually worked on the design of that for me, which is beautiful, and really did bring everything together, all the copywriting and data and information. He brought it all together, and it looks beautiful. I've actually sent some of them out, not all of them yet, and I've already had a response from a really exciting client in the States. We've got a meeting next week, so what can I say? There's been an impact personally in the way that I kind of internalise things. So because of the kind of support and advice that Thad gives me, I can put things into perspective an awful lot easier than I had before. And that actually helps keep my stress levels lower than they can be at times. So it's a very high pressured environment with things changing all the time. And the unexpected happens pretty much every day. So there's a lot of pressure that comes with that, and I'm used to that. But Thad has taught me that, you know, the importance of the important things actually, and letting go of the things that I really can't do anything about. So the benefits are immense. And I think that there's a long way to go, and there's a lot more that we've got to do. But in terms of the project that we've been working on, I mean, I'm so thrilled that I've had a response, because I didn't think I was going to get one just after 2 books. So that's amazing, and I've got lots more to send out. So it could change the entire shape of the business. He's very, very easy to talk to, and he listens. He's very opinionated and very forceful, because he knows what he's talking about. He literally forces me to focus when I try not to. Recently we were going through a session, and I was so stressed that day that I was finding loads of excuses and reasons why I couldn't do something that day, and he literally made me do it then and there, some of the tasks I had to do, and then said, look, I'm crossing them off the board. He has just the right level of understanding and listening, but also turning on exactly what I needed at the time, which was someone just to say, just do it, actually, just get it done. I can text Thad, and I often do sometimes when I'm having a tough day, and he'll come back to me and say, who cares, don't worry about it, and I'll feel better. So, you know, I can talk to the guy, and he makes me laugh. Really important. I'd say get in there quick and jump at the chance, because I haven't met anyone like that before. His approach to everything is so driven. He's going to be in demand, and I would say don't hesitate, just do it, because he'll change the way you think, the way you work, and probably the results that you get for your business.